First to the Ninth was an old cavalry division, and it cashed in its horses for choppers and gone terrassing around Nam looking for the shit.
All right, we are back. Hopefully you guys aren't sick of Vietnam yet. This might be the last video for a while because I still have to do the seasonal interface, and I'm going to set the map up to play off camera. I usually don't do my playthroughs on camera that much, but I do want to get to learn the games more, so I'll probably go off camera for that. What we want to do here is show the mobility of the first Cav, made famous, of course, over history, and didn't help Apocalypse Now definitely made it a lot more famous. So I want to show how they're inherently air mobile. How would I say it? They have the ability to inherently use air mobile points as opposed to spending them in the game. So you're going to have air mobilization points in this game, and you can make any unit air mobile, but you would have to spend points. And you would spend the points, and it tells you how much in the book. You want to look at page 11, 4.6.1. And then you could take that unit and make them air mobile, which is basically airlifting and dropping them in. Or you could use something like the first Cav here. And these are just 2 units, 2 battalions. Now, it's not even set up properly, but you'll get the idea here. We have some VC battalions dug in the jungle here in the hills. And the first Cav has been tasked with an operation out of Chu Lai to go and take these guys out, or at least try to. Again, the combat strengths aren't the best here, so it's only 6 total against, you'd be looking at a 2 here, but with no artillery, but a good pursuit modifier. So we want to get these guys over here quickly. So the yellow means they are inherently air mobile, and that means they pay a half point per hex they go through, except for the one they land in. That's called a landing zone. And your landing zone, there's a table on page 11 that kind of tells you what the cost is for that. That's where you're going to pay a hunk of your cost, but they can ignore all these hex side costs and going over these things like that and just basically move right in and be airlifted in. Now, I should note that if you want to take these guys and, dump them into an operating target hex, you can do that, but it's known as a hot landing zone. And if you land in a enemy target unit, in a hex with a target unit, your losses are going to be greater. I think it doubles your ground combat strengths. And when you look at that table, if you've watched my last few videos, you know how you add up your ground combat strength. The more stuff you use on this table, the higher this gets, the more you have a chance of taking casualties. It gets worse and worse. So it's going to double your ground combat strength. Also, if you get a air mobile, I believe it's the helicopter, and you see the asterisk here, you're going to get that hot landing zone warning for your loss right there. It's not just an air mobile point, you also have losses to the units. So you got to be careful when you do that. Okay, but other than that, I'm going to show you what happens. We're going to try to move these guys in an operation. We're going to fly them in and drop them right here. I'm not really sure that's a good idea because then the river's at their back, but sure. I'm an awesome general. I just want to show how this goes. I won't do the whole operation, but I do believe that if we're doing a search and destroy, I can't remember. I got to look at the VC rules real quick. I'm not sure if I drop them here. They may get alert movement, so we'll check that real quick as part of the operation. But let's just let's sweep these guys in there. Man, I had a third one. I don't think I have it. It must still be in the baggie. I really want to move all 3 battalions. Should I get that? Nah, you know what? Screw this. We're taking the brigade in. All right, first Cav. We're going full strength. Now, you might say to yourself, well, why don't you just always deploy like that? Remember, if you take losses, so if I were to take losses that I couldn't pay for, at least one of the battalions derived from the breakdown must be removed as a casualty immediately after the breakdown, and U.S. units must go to second deployment when they undergo such a breakdown with an HQ. But I'm going to take this whole thing in, screw it. I'm tired of having these wimpy battalions out there. We're going with the brigade. All right. I'm in the first deployment here. And remember, if you want to look at deployments, check out page 22, 8.0. We're going to use first deployment, the first Cav, and we're going to air mobile these guys right in. Okay. Now, again, the NLF player has elected not to operate. So we're going to operate, yes, and we're going to do seeking, search, and destroy. Go to diagram A. Designate operating units. Okay, so you guys have been through this before. I'm just going to place the counters real quick. And then we'll do this too. We'll actually keep these on reveal. We know there's VC here, but we'll actually follow the rules and do that the right way. No VC units up in this area. Mix them up here. But we know what they are already. Okay, then we go to roll for Rangers. I'm going to say I actually got this. I'm putting a Ranger unit in here. We're taking some Arvin Rangers with us. If you need to. Actually, you know what? No, let's not. I'm going to keep that for later. They're not inherently mobile, so I don't want to spend any points. Okay, so we're going to skip roll for Rangers. I haven't done interdiction. You can read about it. Basically, you want to interdict the hex. It costs more movement to get out of the area. It's a good way to try to trap the VC units. It slows down their ability to retreat and things like that. It costs them more to get out. We won't do interdiction. If you want to read about it, you can hit the rulebook. Are there VC defenders? I almost forgot my own rules there. We have to declare a target hex here. We're going after this unit. Actually, that is a provincial boundary. And don't forget, you have capital cities and towns in this, so there's a way you can take control of capitals, and there's markers for that, but that's a whole different story. All right, declare air naval support. No, I mean, we could. And again, I haven't been doing a lot of these examples. I haven't been using the full power of the U.S. military, but this is going to be a free fire zone as usual. I've really annoyed the populace in all of my examples. Yeah, I haven't been using naval or air power. Haven't been using the Air Force, any of that stuff. I just want to show you some quick examples here. Okay, now we move, and Airmobile is, if I remember correctly, it's 1/2. So let's take a look at this guy's movement here. It's 8. So we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, and we're going to land here in this hex. Again, terrain is irrelevant, but the landing hex, it does say if the hex is not enemy occupied and only in the ZOC of a non-patrolling enemy units, here. Yeah, from what I can tell on limited intelligence, page 23, it does say that all VC units have ZOCs. They're revealed for combat. They're turned immediately back over after casualties are distributed. The NLF player does not have to reveal VC units when enemy units pass through their hex. Okay, so we'll count that as a ZOC. We'll say it's 2 to land there. Either way, that 8, that's a lot. This is a major push here, a major operation. Okay, now we would hit the offensive interdiction there, and now we go to a new part of the flowchart we haven't seen too much of. We're at move, and we bounce over to here. We're not doing this, although we should be. We should be. Are there VC defenders? Yes. Alert roll. Okay, let's see how this works. And let's rewind a bit. I forgot that this is going to cause reaction movement. This VC unit, which is not a target, actually gets reaction movement and could technically move into here first before the alert roll. Let's do that. Let's double up. They're going to move in there. They see the helicopters coming in. They form their defensive positions. A reaction move can be in any direction. Enemy ZOCs may be entered. Enemy occupied hexes can also be entered, but not subject to incidental attacks. Reaction movement is not going to trigger a chain reaction of reaction movements, if you just get what I said. So yeah, let's do that. Let's be smart here and move that in there. Operating and target units are not eligible for this. So let's move him in, and then we'll do our alert roll. Because the VC could technically scatter from here, which is where your interdiction becomes real important, because we could have interdicted this hex, and then when they try to run, it would cost them a lot of movement to get out of there. And remember, reaction movement is only done by someone that's not the target of the operation, so just a heads up on that. And you can find that on, I believe that's on page 13. So now we go back to alert, and the reason I went backwards is because I forgot about the RM right here. So then we go over and we check the alert. You can only do this in the first round of an operation. I'm not really sure I want to do it, though. All right, we're going to take it. We're going to make a die roll. We're going to add it to the foot movement cost of this terrain. A jungle and a hill, I think that is 2. Each one's a 2. So we're going to roll a die. Of course I did that. And we get a 3. So we get a total of 5, and that's going to be, I believe that's their alert movement point allowance. And another reason I didn't bring the Rangers is because if there's an Arvin unit in the operation, the VC get a +1 to that. I guess they're so good at outsmarting the South Vietnamese army that they get a +1 to their movement. Now, this would allow me to move up to 5 movement points. That allows me to shift into better defensive terrain. Let's check the combat DRMs. Jungle's -1. Forested hills are... Oh, this might be a forested... No, it's not. Forested hills are a 2. We could pull back into here. Let's use our movement points and go back. They have 5, so they have enough to go 2 back into here. Oh, but we have to leave the enemy Zoc. They still have enough. I think that would be a 3, right? So they leave, and that's 1, and then 2, 3. The VC are going to pull back to this position because from what I'm seeing here, it gives them a -2 to the DRM. Interesting. Okay, we'll use that and see if that's a smart move. All right. The VC just see a swarm of helicopters coming in, and they're like, we need better defensive positions. So we'll go back to here. You can also disperse VC units, and that would be an alternative. It's called dispersal, and they're actually removed from the map, and they get put into the VC replacement pool. Which, that would really piss the American player off. Okay, but we're not going to disperse. We're going to back up. Now, normally I'd have, like, say I fell back to, like, some, I don't know, crossroads or something major. I don't know. It's something important to be guarding. They're going to fall back into here. Maybe they want to draw the U.S. in and see what happens here. So instead of dispersal, we're actually going to actually do that part. Okay, we're not doing dispersal. We did our alert move, and that also can trigger incidental attacks, but we're not looking at that. Okay, are there target units in the adjacent hexes or hexes occupied by operating units? No, there are not. Okay, I think they may have just gotten out of being attacked big time there. Okay, so see, that's what I mean. These guys are slippery. I should have interdicted, because if I had interdicted properly and gotten a 2, if I put 2 points interdiction, 1, 3, 5 just to get out, they still could have gotten away. Man, oh man, that's some crazy stuff there. And I can't pursue because they didn't retreat. So I'm following the flow chart, and it looks like they got away. Then we'd have to declare another operation, and these guys would be done. So I did not get to... I left those guys hanging out there. You really got to think ahead in this game a little bit. Now, if that was a clear and secure op, I'm starting to think about that here. I could be put on patrol or hold. And that's where you would put a patrol or hold marker on there. A hold would, I think it doubles their strength. I can't remember what a hold does. Yeah, their combat strength would be doubled if attacked. So maybe if they did end up on top of this hill, they may want to go... A clear and secure allows you to go into a hold mode, where even though they're way out here in the boonies, they would have a double if they get attacked. So they would go into a hold, but that prevents you from doing some other things. Okay, that's brutal. And again, you know, the roll that I got for that 5 to move out of there was pretty good. I've seen... There's an example in the rulebook for alert movement where the VC got 8 movement points, which is, let's see, they only have 6. You can actually go higher than the number on the counter. That's scary. And again, I would have had to, are there operating, so I mean, this is where you may want to land in the hex. Again, I've been landing, you know, in the hex adjacent. If I had landed here in the target hex, remember it's 6 miles, and then they tried to get out, I could have still made an attack. There's lots to consider when you do operations in this game. So Operation Jungle Hill, was it successful? I don't know. They took a hill, just like Hamburger Hill. They're going to leave it, and the VC will just move right back in. Now, again, I didn't get an attack off, so we didn't do the whole announce attack where you reveal the VC units, and then we would have flipped them over. And normally the other player would not know what's underneath there. So he could get a shock. That could be a regiment, or it could be a political section, which you just immediately... It's like political sections are like dummy sections that you just take right off the board. Again, so I'm learning the ropes on this game. Movement is key. It's a fluid movement situation, and I'm afraid to land in target hexes. I don't know why, but again, you're seeing why you may want to just go right into the target hex, but it would have been a hot landing zone, and I could have risked certain things happening. But with a 14 attack, or a 13 attack, I mean, there's only a 4 there. Plus, I'd have 9 support. And they would have no organic artillery. I mean, I probably could have pulled that attack off. There's no organic support in there. That would have been one time where an attack probably would have been good. I would have 13 plus my 9 support. Yeah, that would have been nice, right? And then even if I beat them up and they retreat, I have a pretty good pursuit roll. So you see the way this game plays and the things you have to think. All right, those are just some of the things you got to think about when you play this game. So I'll probably slow down the Vietnam vids, and I just wanted to kind of stress maybe I should have landed in the target hex. Damn it. All right, thanks for watching, and as for what game is next, I'm going to kind of be all over. It might be Great Battles of the American Civil War plus some Bloody April. We might be looking at some World War I air combat, but I'll think about that because I need to refresh myself on that. It's been probably 7 years since I tried to play that game. All right, thanks for watching.